Hello my beautykins, and welcome back to my channel, and this is another true crime segment. Today we are going to be talking about the case of Shanaira Selden. Shannara was born on May 17, 1994. She had been born in Flores County, South Carolina. Sadly, just 24 years later, her life would be tragically taken. In April of 2018, Shannara and her 4-year-old son Aiden had been traveling to her husband's aunt's wedding. They were traveling from Kentucky to her hometown, North Carolina. Shannara loses control of her vehicle while going through West Virginia's turnpike. As a result, her 4-year-old son Aiden passed away on impact. Shannara, of course, took it rough. As a mother of a 3-year-old, learning about this broke my heart entirely because I knew Shannara had been distraught behind this. She tried her hardest to pick up the pieces after and bear with life now alone. In November of 2018, a young man named Jonathan reached out to Shannara's mother, Shamika. He expressed that his living situation at the moment wasn't peaches and cream. He felt he would be falling back into bad habits had he stayed around, so he asked to stay with Shamika for a while. Jonathan was well known to Shannara and her family. Shamika took Jonathan under her wing to the point where he called her mom. A couple months after moving in January of 2019, Jonathan and Shannara began a relationship. Shamika was not okay with this relationship at all. She felt at the time her daughter had been very vulnerable, dealing with a lot, especially with the passing of her son Aiden. So understandably, this was a very rough time for Shannara. Shamika had taken time off of work to be there for her daughter and also, of course, mourn the loss of her grandson. Eventually, it had been time for her to go back to work, although she didn't want to leave her grieving daughter. At this time, Jonathan and Shannara had been spending more time together, and Shannara, according to her mother, seemed better. So going back to work, she found comfort in knowing her daughter had a shoulder to lean on while she was gone. A few months later, Shamika finds out through her other 2 kids that Jonathan had been using drugs. Keep in mind, her mother is a therapist and for people battling with addiction. She knew at the time that her daughter wasn't using drugs and wanted to prevent that. She knew that the only way that can happen would be for her boyfriend to leave. The only issue was that she knew it would upset her daughter and Shannara would leave, so Shamika knew that she had to be strategic. Shamika felt her daughter had been easily influenced not only by her relationship but by Jonathan as well. Shannara's mother went ahead and ordered for Jonathan to take a drug test, which he obviously refused to. Shannara's boyfriend ends up leaving Shamika's house on his own. Now, Shannara had a very big heart. She didn't want her boyfriend to feel as if she had just given up on him like his mother did and her mother recently did. She didn't want to feel like another person disappointing him, so she followed him. There had been one incident after Shannara leaves her mother's home when she calls her mom one day and asks her to come pick her up. Shannara's mother said that when she had came to pick up Shannara, her appearance looked disheveled. Shannara tells her mother that she had smoked weed for the first time that day, but her mother knew that there was more to it. Shamika drives Shannara to the hospital, where they find out that Shannara has meth in her system. Shamika says that she can tell by the look on her daughter's face that she felt betrayed. I mean, I don't know anyone who wouldn't feel betrayed by this. I can just imagine how hurt Shannara was. Shannara was Muslim, and after the incident, she decided to move back home with her mother and focus on herself and her faith more. But of course, she was a human with human emotions and still missed Jonathan from time to time, but she brushed it off. Shannara and her mother would be chilling sometimes, and she would talk about the situation with her mother, but also mention to her mother that she really didn't like her boyfriend's friend. Her mother, of course, being the mom she was, asked Shannara why she didn't like them. Shannara tells her mother that they make her do stuff. Even more concerned with the conversation now, she asks Shannara stuff like what? Drugs? And Shannara clarifies that it is sexual things. Shamika, of course, tells her daughter that she doesn't have to do anything that she doesn't want to do, ever. Shannara ends up going back to school and trying to get her life back together. She aspired to be a nurse and things were finally looking up for her. At this time, Shannara and Jonathan had still been in contact. On October 11th, 2019, Shannara's brother calls his mother to inform her that he sees his sister leaving in a random car. Shamika then goes on to call Shannara and asks her where she's going. but her daughter lets her know that she will be okay and will call every single day while she's with Jonathan, which she did. Shamika expresses that she doesn't think that it's a good idea for Shannara to go back, but Shannara then states again that she will call her mother every single day, makes sure that she keeps in contact. Now, Shannara arrives to her boyfriend's house and speaks to her mother for about an hour or so, and this goes on for about every single day. Shamika also makes it her business to keep in contact with her daughter at all times. Some time goes by, and Shannara suspects that her boyfriend is using drugs again. One day, Shannara calls asking if she can meet up with her mother just to chat. Her mother ends up getting sick, so the meeting couldn't happen, but they did end up FaceTiming each other that day. Their calls went on regularly. One day, Shamika gets a call from her daughter, a FaceTime, and they chatted it up for a while. So on this Saturday, Shannara had been FaceTiming her mother, showing her her new head covering. Her mother had been hyping her up about it. Shamika states that Shannara had been very excited about it. Unfortunately, that would be the last time they spoke. On October 21st, 2019, Shamika was at work and received a text from her daughter's phone stating, "Sorry to bother you, but have you seen Shannara?" Confused, immediately Shamika steps out and calls her daughter's phone. On the other end of that call had been Shannara's boyfriend, Jonathan. Shamika quickly shot back, stating, "What do you mean? Isn't she supposed to be with you?" Jonathan tells Shannara's mother that, to be honest, we really haven't been feeling each other lately, and Shannara asked for space. Shamika states Jonathan said he stayed over by his mom's house on Sunday night, and when he came back to their home, Shannara was gone, although her phone had still been plugged up. So Jonathan called Shamika around 10 a.m. She lets him know that if her daughter doesn't show up by 12 p.m., she will be showing up to his house and she won't be alone. Jonathan then goes on to tell Shamika that he will go on and try to look for Shannara. Shamika goes on to call Jonathan's mom to confirm or deny whether he had been over there. His mom states the last time she seen the pair together had been that Saturday. Shamika then asks his mom when was the last time she saw her son alone, and his mom states she saw him alone on Saturday. She asks if he had stayed the night like he stated on the phone, but his mom states that he didn't, which meant that he had lied to Shannara's mother. Shannara's mom goes on to call the police and gather her friends and family to help look for Shannara. Shamika asks for Shannara's phone from Jonathan upon arrival. According to a friend, he said that the last time he saw Shannara was on a Saturday. The friend states that she seemed a little down when he saw her, but Shamika felt as though they had just been trying to corroborate a story. Her friends and family began to hang up flyers for her and began searching for her, places no one should ever have to look for their loved one. Her mother had even been fishing through her phone and trying to see if she could find clues, but nothing turned up. Shamika realized that she was able to sign into Jonathan's information. She saw that he was previously signed into Shannara's phone, so she went ahead and she began to do her own little investigation. Because of this, Shamika was able to see that Jonathan not only lied about spending the night at his mother's house, but he also lied about his timeline. He had mentioned to Shamika that he had gotten home that morning around 8. But the text showed that around 8 he had still been on the bus. The messages that she had been referring to had been a back and forth between him and his friend. While investigating Jonathan's phone, Shamika also learns that he had been sexually involved with one of his male friends. Now, Shamika never informed Jonathan that she knew, but she did went ahead and tell detectives about it. It had been going on day 2 of the search, and Jonathan had not helped at all.
Day 2 of the search, Jonathan at this point has not assisted in the search, has not posted flyers on his Facebook, has not done anything as it relates to finding Shannara. Shamika, her mother, also realizes that Jonathan is moving his things out of this house, and she is confused, like, what's going on? And she says her wife tells her that, well, he can move because he knows that Shannara's not coming back.
Dumpsters, parks, and morgues even, but no sign of Shannara. According to Jonathan, Shannara left with her pea coat on, which to her mother made no sense for 2 reasons. One of those reasons had been the fact that the weather had been 70 degrees. And the other reason is her mother had always struggled to get Shannara to wear her coats. So that piece of information just didn't add up to her. That following Sunday, Shamika, her wife, and their children had been sitting at the table eating their dinner when Shamika got a breaking news notification. The notification had stated that a body had been found in the river in Indiana. Instantly, Shamika knew it had been her daughter. The next day, Shamika and her daughter had been calling the coroner's office trying to confirm. They kept hitting dead ends, mostly because they had been in Kentucky, but Shannara's body had been found in Indiana. Jonathan at this point still had been no help. He does go on to reach out after the news and states, "Hey, I heard a body was found. Please tell me what's going on. I'm freaking out." On Tuesday, Shannara's mom received a call from a detective, and he basically tells her it's a 98% chance that the body found in Indiana had been their daughter's, and they wanted Shamika to come down to confirm. At first, they tell Shannara's mom that they do not suspect foul play and believe that it has been a suicide. But when Shamika goes to collect her daughter's death certificate, they inform her that even though the ME stated a suicide, the coroner felt otherwise and wrote undetermined. Shannara's body was found completely nude and her hair had been held by a scrunchie. Her death is still undetermined and an investigation is still going on as of today. Now, on November 15th, 2021, her mother gives an update and she states on her TikTok platform that she is actively the one investigating her child's death. Shamika truly believes no one else is putting in any effort. There are new detectives on Shannara's case, but she feels they are for, as she states, pacification. Shamika says that she will continue to investigate her daughter's death. She doesn't care what they do or they don't do. She stated Shannara's cell phone has been gone for 6 months since May of that year. Shannara's phone had been taken for digital download. The reason explained to her was because things kept getting pushed in front of it. They told her mother things were more important than her case, which is so sick to me. Shamika said this pisses her off, as it would anyone. She feels there is no urgency put towards her daughter's case except from her solely. She expresses her wants for a PI, but knows it can be very expensive. Shamika has considered doing fundraising, and she is also planning to place a billboard because she knows someone knows something. Shamika also states that her and Jonathan's sister had gotten into it a couple months ago, stating Shamika had been getting money on behalf of her daughter, which is extremely insensitive and ridiculous on her behalf. Shamika states that it is a lot of information that she has that she cannot speak on at the moment, but in due time, it'll all come out. Know that there are a lot of monitoring eyes on her and want to be cautious of what she shares. There had been another update given by Shannara's mother on TikTok on January 10th, 2022. Her mother states that she finally found a private investigator. She states that it took her a while because she wanted to find the perfect person for her daughter's case. She states that the PI's location gave her comfort, and she knows she has high hopes that the PI will help her tremendously. Shamika says that she finally started a GoFundMe account. She wants to make sure the money was going towards something that will help her daughter's case. I will make sure to link her GoFundMe account and her TikTok link down in the description box below. Her mother says she is optimistic about the case, not happy but optimistic. Shamika also states on her TikTok page that she has been dreaming of Shannara recently. This video update had been on May, and Shannara recently had a heavenly 29th birthday. For her birthday, they actually had a gathering. Her father set it up and her mother said it was beautiful. But she goes on to speak about her dream, and she states that she had a dream that Shannara had been calling her name. And then on that Friday, she had a dream she had been lying on her bed in her room and she heard her kids playing, like playfully arguing.
So I am dreaming about Shannara a lot. Between Wednesday and this morning, and I don't understand it. I mean, I'm glad that I'm dreaming of her, but it just seems to be a lot at once, and it never happens that way. So I'd made a video about this on Friday, and by the time I was done with it, I was a blubbering mess, so I decided not to post it. Well, last week was Shannara's birthday. On the 17th, she's 29. This would have been her last week in her 20s, so her best friend and ex-husband just kind of threw some stuff together so that we can all meet, and it was really beautiful. Wednesday night, I went to bed, and I'm laying there, and I can almost feel her, and she's going, "Mama, Mama," and I bolt up out of my sleep, and I don't see her, of course. but it just kind of shook me up. Then on Friday morning, I have a dream that is just very riveting to me. I have a dream that I am in my room, minding my business like I always am, and my children are in another part of the house arguing. Not seriously, but just kind of cracking jokes with each other, and I hear Shannara in the mix. So I get up and I run in, and she's standing in the foyer, and she is so beautiful, and Aiden's not around, and she has this bob with these ringlets, and she's just as stunning as she always is. And I grab her and I hug her, and we're rocking, and we just start engaging in conversation, like picking up where we left off almost. And then I look at her and I say, wait a minute, what year is it? And she says, it's 2019. And when she said that, I recognized that she was saying it with hurt. So I said, you have to go, don't you? And she said, yeah. And so she disappeared. And I hit my knees and I wailed and I wailed and I wailed and I cried and I cried. And it transferred in real life. So I'm in my bed screaming and no one is around to hear it, thank God. But it messed me up all day, and I just didn't recover from it until like Sunday. That's how hurtful it really was.
Now, Shannara's mother's page is full of information and also heartfelt tributes to her daughter, and it is extremely sad, you guys. Please make sure under this video you keep your comments respectful, because you don't know who is watching her mother, her family, so please make sure to keep the comments under these videos very, very respectful. Shamika also has a lot of posts of recording audios between her and Jonathan. It gets really deep, so if you guys want to go check those out as well, I will link her TikTok down in the description box below. But I do want to go ahead and thank you all for watching. My contact information will be down in the description box below, so you can go ahead and send me cases so we can go ahead and shed light to them. Everyone, please stay safe and have a beautiful rest of your weekend.
I talked to you this morning. You said you fell asleep at Kay's house. That's what you said to me. And if you deny that, I had you on speaker with all of my coworkers because I was in the break room.
I was about to deny it. I'm not in a position to deny shit. My baby's gone.
So why would you say that you were at Kay's?
Because I was at Celsius' house.
Okay. And?
Nothing. I was at Celsius.
So why would you lie about being at Kay's house and falling asleep on the couch?
Because that's where I had been. She never just came over there the other day. She never was over there with me the other day.
No, you said last night you went to Kay's house and you fell asleep on the couch.
Okay. And last night, that was my intentions, but I didn't make it over there. When I kept saying to you, and I quote, hold up, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do what? I'm going by what you said.
Because the telephone, I kept saying, what did I keep saying on the phone? Huh? I couldn't clearly hear you.
No, but I heard you clearly. You said
I slept over.
You went to Kay's house and you fell asleep.
Mama, did you not ask me? Did you not ask me? What did I say? You still tried to. God was, I said, y'all leave me alone when I get over there.
You didn't say it was my intent to fall over asleep at Kay's house. You said I went to Kay's house and I ended up falling asleep. And then when I got here, then you changed it and said that first you said Nana didn't want to go because she didn't want to go anywhere that she was triggered. Then the first thing you said was that she told you she wanted space. So
let's just get to it.
I don't know where my baby is.
Let's get to it. You think
I put anything past you, Jonathan?
Huh?
You think I put anything past you? Do you think that I put
past me? You gotta put nothing past me.
No.
You ain't gotta put nothing past me.
No. The only person that she has is the only friends that she has is Precious.
And I call her too. Have you talked to her?
No, well, I sent her a text message.
I don't know what to say. I don't know.
I'm not worried about you. You think I'm more worried about you being high?
No.
than where my kid is right now?
You think I'm high right now, though, and that's what...
Let me tell you what I'm thinking.
Yes.
I'm thinking that you have lied to me.
Before.
Not one. You've changed your story like 3 times. Since I talked to you on the phone.
I kept saying, I'm sorry, I misheard.
No, not I'm talking about what you said.
Right.
Has nothing to...
came out my mouth 30 times when I was talking to you. You repeated yourself how many times on the phone?
Jonathan, are you listening to yourself?
How many times
What did you say to me? What did you say to me about Kay's house? Let's start there.
You said, okay, what did you do yesterday? Said, went downtown. Gonna go to my mom's house. Crash over there.
That is not what you said. You fucking liar. That's not what you said. What you said to me was, I went to my mama's house. I talked